Hi, I'm Harriet Tinka, and here are this week's top stories that we have for you. Last week, University of Alberta Associate Law Professor Ubaka Ogbogu was flooded with hate messages. What was his crime? His skin color. The rich countries are doing deals to get their people COVID-19 vaccinated. What are poor countries, especially in Africa, doing to vaccinate their people? Meet AC Awards 2020 Unsung Heroes of the Year, Martha, Andrea, and Liz. New COVID-19 measures in place after numerous calls with the cities of Edmonton and Calgary threatening to take further actions on their own. Now here is the news in detail with Rayyah Sempala.
Welcome to Diversity TV Community Newscast. My name is Rayyah Sempala and I'll be your host for today, along with my co-host Harriet Tinka. We begin this newscast in Edmonton. Academics in Alberta give their expert opinions every day to the media. Ubaka Ogbogu, an associate law professor at the University of Alberta who specializes in public health law and policy, said in a CBC interview that the province's pandemic response is in tatters. And earlier that week, the Conservative Health Minister of Ontario said Alberta COVID-19 situation is in crisis. Two factual and similar statements that received different responses. Professor Ubaka received hate messages following his statement that some are attributed to racism and the Alberta Health Minister's press secretary, Steve Buick's Twitter statement. In the statement, he stated, "Best joke you'll hear today. At Ubaka Ogbogu complains about people who politicize the pandemic. This is the guy who said schools would be pox parties, the most frantically biased academic in Alberta." Steve Buick, press secretary for Alberta Health. Professor Ubaka received all kinds of hate messages after the statement until he had to ask the university to take down his profile on the website for fear of his safety. After non-stop pressure to implement new measures after the last one was seen as weak, the cities of Edmonton and Calgary threatening to come up with their own measures, Premier Kenney came up with this Tuesday with more COVID-19 measures. Expanded health measures will be in effect province-wide. All Albertans, businesses, organizations, and service providers must follow all new health measures.
After careful deliberation, we've adopted the following additional measures. First, on November 27, 2 weeks ago, we placed restrictions on all indoor gatherings of no social gatherings indoors, plus a limit of 10 people for outdoor gatherings. But as of today, we are banning all outdoor social gatherings, period. Also, effectively, immediately, we are expanding the mask mandate to apply to all indoor places and indoor workplaces throughout the province, with an exception for farm operations and people who live in rental homes. As we've said since the beginning, masks can be an effective tool in reducing transmission. The vast majority of Albertans have done the responsible thing through voluntary use of face coverings, and we see that increasingly across the province. But we are at a point where everyone has a civic duty to do their part. The following public health orders will be effective as of December 13th at 12:01 a.m. Firstly, retail services must limit their shoppers to 15% of fire code capacity, down from the current 25%. This will apply to retail stores and grocery stores, but also to shopping malls. Food court kiosks can remain open, but only for takeaway service. We will provide shopping malls with additional guidance, but the bottom line is this: malls must be limited to commercial visits by customers, not be used as a place to hang out or socialize with friends. Secondly, in-person attendance at places of worship is also being reduced to 15% of the fire code occupancy. Mandatory use of masks, physical distancing, the prohibition on related post-worship social activities, and other restrictions will continue to apply. Where they can, faith communities are encouraged to move to online or drive-in services, and these measures continue to reflect Alberta's best effort to balance enumerated constitutional rights with the critical life-saving public health imperative. All restaurants, bars, lounges, and cafes will move to takeout or delivery service only. And let me pause to say that since the most recent restrictions, the curfew, the limitation to household groups, many restaurant and similar operations have told us that they've closed because they cannot pay their own bills right now. This will allow them to fully access federal supports and provincial supports as we get through the difficult following weeks. A number of services will also be closed for the duration of these measures. That includes entertainment facilities, places like casinos, bingos, raceways, libraries, museums, theaters, and private clubs will be closed. Trade shows and conference centers will be closed. Indoor recreation facilities, including fitness centers, gyms, pools, and skating rinks will be closed, as will personal and wellness services, which include salons, barbers, nail salons, massage, tattoo, and piercing studios. It is important to note that allied health services like physio, dentistry, social services, emergency shelters, and childcare will remain open as previously outlined. This importantly includes addiction counseling and group meetings, as well as residential addiction treatment centers. Some outdoor recreation sites may continue, such as outdoor skating rinks and ski hills. Alberta Health will work with operators to develop plans to avoid crowding and maintain safety measures. Hotels can also remain open, but will have to close pools, fitness centers, related services, and restaurants. And finally, we are announcing, and this is very important, we are announcing that all Alberta employees must work from home unless an employer requires a physical presence for operational effectiveness. This is moving from a recommendation from 2 weeks ago to a legal requirement as of this Saturday. There are no further changes to schools beyond what was announced on November 27th. So that basically means that K-6 students will remain in their classes until the Christmas break, and grades 7 to 12 will continue to work from home. Masking requirements have not changed for schools, nor has the January 11th date for resumption of in-person learning.
In Edmonton this week, the city is launching #ShopLocalYeg, inviting Edmontonians to share the local love by posting their favorite gift pictures and Edmonton businesses shopping safely and supporting local. During these difficult times, every local purchase you make this holiday season matters. For more information, you can visit edmonton.ca/shoplocal.
The City of Calgary is also calling Calgarians to shop local. Every dollar you spend at a local business makes an impact, especially this holiday season. Local businesses make up to 52% of private sector retail employment in Calgary. If every Calgarian spent $10 in December on holiday gifts from a local store, that would mean an additional 68 jobs generated in our city this month alone. Remember that you do not even have to go into stores to support local. Even though retail remains open at limited capacity under health measures implemented by the government of Alberta, many businesses offer online ordering, curbside pickup, and delivery. If you're going into the community, please help keep everyone safe by wearing your mask, keeping your distance, and practicing good hand hygiene. For more information, go to www.calgary.ca/supportlocal. AC Awards news. Meet Martha, Liz, and Andrea doing an incredible job in our communities, but go unnoticed until they all won AC Awards 2020 Unsung Heroes Award.
Thank you, Diversity, for recognizing the work that's done by some of us in the community. We appreciate that you have taken the time, even in this COVID period, to come out and make sure that we were with family and are celebrated for what we do. We thank you.
She doesn't take no for an answer. When she sets her mind into something, she goes for it, no matter how big or how tough it is.
And I'm going to dedicate this award to my community, to the Sierra Leone community, because we all work together. So for me to get this award.
According to a Globe and Mail story this week, police across Canada reported a 7% rise in hate crimes last year. According to new statistic, Canada data showing the pre-pandemic uptick was driven by more incidents targeting people over their race and sexual orientation. Just more than 3/4 of all hate crimes reported by police last year occurred in 8 cities that tallied at least 70 incidents: Calgary, Edmonton, Hamilton, Montreal, Ottawa, Quebec City, Toronto, and Vancouver. For the second straight year, Hamilton had the highest rate of hate crimes per 100,000 people with 15.7, followed by Ottawa 10.8 and Quebec City 8.6. The data recently released by Statistic Canada showed nationally 1,946 hate crimes were reported by police agencies in 2019, up from 1,817 the year before, but still slightly below the record high in 2017. This week, Fashion of the Week takes us to meet Rupa, the young entrepreneur designer who expanded her shoe shop just 4 months after she started in Chinook Mall in Calgary.
Selling Rose is a shoe and handbag store. I do design one shoe in 5 different heel heights. I wanted to solve a heel height problem. I wanted to have shoes that come in 5 different heel heights, 12 centimeters, 9 centimeters, 6 centimeters, 3.5, and also flats. I wanted to give women options in the heel height. I wanted women to buy shoes that they're comfortable walking in.
Our diversity profile for this week is the story of Rayyah Plumbing.
Rayyah Plumbing and Heating, it's a company that we're specialized in plumbing, heating, HVAC, and ventilation. We've been operating based in Calgary since 2014, and from then we have been serving Calgary and area. We also serve outside of Calgary, and in the plumbing especially, we would do everything that comes with plumbing, including drainage, cleaning. When it comes to HVAC, we will do commercial and residential, which means if you are experiencing issues, whether it's service or new install, we are here to assist. When it comes to ventilation, we will definitely be part of your project, which will be air quality, kitchen ventilation. For those ones that are owner operator of restaurant, we do new build and maintenance. Also, we have financing available for payment flexibility for your project or your house improvement. We will all be with you.
In Diversity TV International News, as the rich countries of the world hatch deals to purchase COVID-19 vaccines, some have already secured vaccines to vaccinate 3 times their entire populations, while poor countries are not sure of a vaccine even for their most vulnerable by the end of 2021. Some organizations are raising money to help poor countries, while the WHO, who helped poor countries in COVID-19 test expertise, is also working to help. Presidential elections are currently taking place in Uganda with incumbent President Yoweri Museveni, who has been in power since 1986, being challenged by popstar turned politician Bobi Wine. Robert Chagulanyi Sentamu, known by his stage name Bobi Wine, is a singer, actor, and businessman born 4 years before the President Museveni came into power. He currently serves as a member of parliament for Kyadondo County East constituency in Wakiso district in Uganda's central region. Bobi Wine has been prevented by the Ugandan police and military from campaigning across the country by harassing, killing, and detaining his supporters. This is an example of campaigning in Uganda the Bobi Wine way.
Why are you acting like a criminal? Why are you trying to murder me?
Welcome to your weekly community newscast with Rayyah Sempala and
Harriet, Tinka.
So today we're talking about COVID-19 restrictions and the new restrictions that have been brought out by Premier Kenney.
Yes, there have been several restrictions that have come about, and these are definitely supposed to bring the curve a little bit flat, and hopefully it'll be effective. Like one that I really stands out for me, because I really like going to the gym, is the gyms are closed, the hair salons will be closed at least for 4 weeks, and I think it's a good move from the government, in my opinion.
And this comes after both Edmonton and Calgary, the cities were threatening to come up with their own restrictions.
Yes, yeah. So definitely this was the right move for the government to bring about. It will start hopefully seeing the results in the next 3 weeks as they announce them.
Yeah, and it's pretty important if people want life to go back to normal.
Normal, yes. Like what is normal? I think we've all forgotten. Since March of 2020, I think all of us have had to really reinvent ourselves, be more innovative, and try to support each other in as much as we can.
Yeah, and I know we're experiencing a little bit of jealousy as some cities in Australia are celebrating. They're having parties because they have successfully brought the curve down, and now they're able to, go back to normal.
Yes, I'm sure we're going to see the same results. It's good to see what other countries are doing. And if you see success, of course, we're going to do the same, because it's really important to see what the wins in other countries are. If they're doing well, we might as well do the same. Why not?
Yes, and also in this weekly community newscast, we're also talking about a law professor at the U of A. Yes. Professor Ubaka Ogbogu.
Yes, I think you pronounced it correctly. Yeah. I dare not try because I might butcher it, but I think you did pronounce it right. But there was a really big, there was a big concern in the community about his impact on the message that he was sharing, and he didn't get good positive messages. They were actually quite negative, and it was due to his skin color, which is unfortunate.
Yes. And we have also other community chit-chats. The African Awards are done for this year.
Yes, they were done actually, but every week we've been trying to feature as many winners as we can. This week we have the unsung heroes. We have 3 very, very inspiring unsung heroes. And what unsung is, in case our listeners don't know, is people doing things behind the scenes, not knowing that somebody will catch them doing the right thing. And that's what we really all should do. We should do the right thing even when nobody else is seeing. That's really important. It just shows your integrity. And that's why these 3 winners are being featured this week. The AC Award 2020. And again, as we say every week, if anybody out there is doing something great that you know of, please make sure you nominate them and you share what they're doing so that we can come and give them the award, because that's so important to be recognized, to see what people are doing in the community.
Yeah, that's very important, Harriet. Well, thank you guys for watching this week's Community Chit Chat. We hope to see you next week.
Awesome. So we'll see you next week. Make sure to subscribe and hit that notification button so that you will be the first to get the news as it comes. We are on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, and
We're also on Instagram and TikTok, so you can follow us on those platforms. Thank you for watching this week's Community Chit Chat.
we'll see you next week.
Whoa.